As you may have noticed so far, I never referred to any form of conspects and let the words follow. Expertise, heart, soul, black soul, mind, and be uttered and composed in a certain rhetorical fashion. However, sometimes the discourse, the narration is a bit too difficult and requires more precision. Therefore, now I will engage in a reading of a certain theological prerogative that I find interesting and maybe both practical and theoretical to some of you. Hence, every generation discovers anew. Every generation has its own great work to be completed, yet apophatic axioms are nevertheless apophatic. If someone out there were to know absolutely everything in the universe, he would be busy polishing it to perfection, like knowledge, beauty, science, and art, and even if on his own, he'll try to outcompete himself in this strife that is by necessity inbuilt in the cosmos. The day may be given by the heavens, but Tao must be rounded eternally within. It is that eternal blooming that never ends, whether in destruction, creation, harmony, disharmony, and so on. So, back to Plotinian ideas of intellect and notions. Notions, ideas, and feelings coincide with the tetractys and divinity tends to geometrize. Every solution must contain beauty and arete, individuated and scaled for the person's true, non-universalized syntony with objective metaphysics, which are always out of reach in the Hölderlinian tragedy, but proportioned, ratioed, and coordinated as frames of reference and approximation, contrary to appropriation, a realization contrary to delusion, specific to the human particularism that has the ethos of verity from which we may derive and reverse engineer the divine spectacle itself. Cold machines and automatic, rigid Saturnian solutions that are barren of this insight without the aforementioned element fall from the correct perception. Thus, even Saturnian severity must be redefinized by definition. Sia or Heka, the perception of force in all its manifestations and currents, of the noetic, noeric, and sympathetic intelligible into sterility and cosmic alienation. This leads to nihilism and decay, just as the latter leads to despair, exclusion, and inner collapse. The phenomenal post-Protean, as in Egypt known Proteus, the monad of the cosmic egg, or the phaeton of self-generated chronos encircling the abyss in the Orphic mysteries. Post-tritogeneic, Chaldean post-triteletarchic, Chaldean oracles. Generated universe of space, time, matter, energy, energies, and information that is simultaneous a war of nature, particles, energies, currents, and elements within the cosmos, or order, and adornment, and original Attic meaning. Understood as tension within harmony or cacophony, with the solver releasing mercy and coagula binding justice principle. All motion, aim, teleology, and force derives from its noting through the tetractys enclosed in the philosophical supra-Platonic decad. That is a prototypization of an ideal generator. This decad, reflected in phenomena, descends into pentacontahexagon after Master Plutarch, the Typhonian, Apeppian, Apophis 56-sided polygon. That in the Blackfires of the soul nigger autophaneia, Schwarze Sonne, manifests as hekatephys, not only matter, but the underworlds further subdivided into particles, black fire, black water, black air, and black earth, enclosing the inceptive quinta essentia force by tiamatic ensnarements in the azotian forms. Hence Styx, Hades, Iron, and Tartarus. Giordano Bruno most excellently delineated nix, orcus, and chaos in his descriptions in Lampas Triginta Statuarum. Therefore, the world of stellar gods, asteriae, and upper realms is reflected and somehow arrested by hyperctonic, ctonic, and hypoctonic forces, hellish if you like. Areton kai agnoston, or the unknowing of itself in virtue, that is Proteus Chronos, is emerging from the chaos of the night. Chaos is the beginning, as a filtered force of divine generation, and is not dissimilar or separate, yet is inseparable in its transcendent Artemisian dyadic third. Thus light is a form of filtered darkness. An intelligent operator of theology, theurgy, and philosophy will derive other worlds of the dead, of the negric entities, of all the hells combined and cemeteries of past worlds and forms that withdrew over millions of years, as rectified perhaps, as an example, modern goat and a lamb in Hungarian terms, respiritualized into a hybrid creature to form a Capricorn, where power and eudaimonic harmony are met together and sing in unison. Or a lion and an eagle, as in a griffon, where self-contained divine pride and overreaching insight and foresight, protonoia and pronoia, are recombined splendidly. Hence, all bestiaries should be interpreted in such a way. All hybrids, all holy hybrids. Just as the Pythagorean tetractys, as exposed in Jamblichus' Theology of Arithmetic, is as a Venetian mirror to phenomena, the decaying combustible forces of forms are a black mirror to phenomena and the tetractys, without depriving those forms of ousia or essence and existence. The Eleatic principle holds true and states, what has power, what has influence, therefore exists. What has essence apart from that is a proper true ontology. Every nature has its quality deriving from its a priori tetractys, seedling in phenomena and transformations within phenomena themselves, that are delimited by the pluriversalist, pantheistic, polytheistic e pluribus unum. The divinity combines. Pandemonic opera omnia, laws self-emerging from between, within and without possible worlds, limited by possible worlds, and in the process of realities as post priori mutation, mixing, and combining of all the aforementioned. Nature likes to hide. Within the imperceptible limit, there is perceptible infinity. The laws of Maat, the Egyptian laws, or Hindirta, are profound, yet contain multitudes. Not every reality is possible, and not every imagining is essentialist or true. But every reality contains impossibilities within its limit, and every fantasy may occur as an illusory form, if imagined. In other words, imagination may be infinite, but the world is not, hence the limit. If an army of monkeys were to type for millions of years, one would eventually type the exact words that I have smitten, but the rest would struggle with the type, producing false tokens. The mathematical philosophy of mathematics of type and token, the eternal type, archetype, and the token as the signature. Parable. Let's say operational magic is effective when embodied laws and perception are related to a segment of true objective laws in a correlated and compatible fashion. That's where magic happens. That's where all thaumaturgy and miracles, to some, happen. Objective laws are the same everywhere, but measuring only a fragment of these yields physical objective reality. Physics is a splendid science of shadows of phenomena, researching possible and verifiable paradigms of statistical, observable, measurable laws of the behavior of detectable phenomena. For example, the behavior of matter and energy, and deriving henceforward equations and applications as a shadow of metaphysics in an essentialist philosophical sense. Every nature may be derived from a non-complex, simple, a priori force as ontological idea and diffract as through a prism into ontological currents of powers and their forefronts. Divinities and laws coincide with the universe, and like Alfred Norbert Whitehead would posit, emerge from it and generated, hence defining themselves. They are discovered by the mortal human species because they existed, and will exist a priori. And the foundation rests on the fact that a human being, an animal, or a plant is a category of the world and is categorically unveiling the world according to its ability and capacity to properly focus these forces through a limited apparatus of a biological, human, mortal, animal cocoon and polypneumatic extrasensory interfaces of contact with these forces, including the souls. Some of them are common amongst hecatic anima mundi. We share certain substance, we share all substance, but not all substance is rectifiable into some worlds. So the functional souls theorem with the Egyptian soul economic the dodecapartite specialized souls, or the Scandinavian Felgia, Felgur, Hamr, Sala, the tripartite souls more animalistic, as in Ulfhednar and Berserkergang, the wolf, Felgur, and the Greek-Roman quadripartite souls, Eidola or Skia, Pneuma, Psyche, and the intellectual daimon genius, or in female counterpart. The ideas as forces reveal themselves in notions through bios zone, the animal part, reason, which is shaped and formed, even brute reason, if must be, and intellect, the refined, reflected notions within possible intelligibilities. And as for the Swedenborgian feeling idea, the feeling of anima mundi, the core feeling of all the souls across the universe, is as intelligibility to similarity, sympatheia, or in Chaldean terms, as Apollo, intellect, is to Hecate, anima mundi. As an example, the physical forces of fusion, magnetism, and diffraction may be understood in the diotemic theorem of eros, philia, and agape. Physical forces, feeling forces, ontological ideas translated into human being and what it may comprehend, tapping into those honest powers and forces. A whole catalog of forces may be just named, understood, and reached, if not felt, as powerful ideas, as powerful forces to your bloodstream, to your mind, to your body, to your soul, to your heart, to your daimon. Because human language is a category of the world, and reverse engineering, one may arrive at meta-identities and ideations. For example, the power of growth in plants, the common sense, growing and thriving, you're growing, your kids are thriving, the Husserlian Ding an sich in phenomena, and growability as an idea, in reality as a process, which is the very gist of those forces. Thank you.